Okay, so in this video, I will design products in collaboration with AI. I will ask Chat GPT for ideas and insert those ideas into DALL-E to visualize them, and then finally make my own interpretation of the design by modeling it in Blender. I was especially happy with design number 3, so you'll see that later. I started off by telling Chat GPT to be my co-designer and asking it for some cool futuristic products, just to give it some direction. It first came up with something called Motor Trans, but I didn't feel like designing a whole transportation system, so I asked it for another one. And that's when I got Glam AR, a smart mirror, and I thought that sounded like a good idea, so I definitely wanted to see what that could look like. This is how it came out when I put it into DALL-E, and wow, this is a thing of nightmares. And out of these 4, I obviously had to pick the one to the right, because yeah, it's simply just the product that looks the best, and I put it into Blender as an image background, and then started off modeling simply with the cube, getting it into the right shape and dimensions, and then just extruding at the back. I then twisted the angle a little bit and extruded again to make it come out like it does in the picture and like be a place for the mirror to attach. Then I started making the mirror itself, so I just added a plane and rotated it to the right angle to make it fit onto the base. And then I just wrote out some text in Affinity Designer to make the AR part of it. So I just exported this text as a PNG and then just added it as a image as plane and just placed it in front of the mirror. Then I just added some emission shading to make it light up a bit more. And here's the final outcome with just some simple renderings. And honestly, I think it came out better than I expected. I think it looks better than the AI version or the AI photo, but yeah, still not amazing obviously, but yeah, it's okay. This time ChatGPT gave me a product idea it called Green Thumb Plus, which is a smart plant care assistant, which honestly sounded super fancy. And this is what I got when I inputted the visual prompt into DALL-E. Honestly, some really cool results here, but I think the left one was my favorite, so I chose to go with that one. I just really love the shape of it, and especially the texturing on the vase. It almost looks a little translucent, and it's like sort of like super organic or almost living material. And this object was pretty simple to make in Blender. I just started by adding a cylindrical shape for the top and the bottom, and then I edited the shape to get the more hexagonal, and then it was just adding the small lighting details. To get the plant, I just imported a model from Blender Kit and just used a free basic plant model. Then it was onto the shading, and this was honestly the most fun part with this one, because the material is mainly what I liked with the original AI product, and I'm not quite happy with how I managed to replicate it. I wish I would have captured that translucent feel a little bit more. I still think it came out looking pretty cool, and I definitely would have this on my own shelf. Then for the third product, and probably my favorite, I went with a concept they called Aqua Glow as the third product, because I just thought it sounded really cool. The output I got from DALL-E was very questionable. It focused mostly on the LED lights, so I had to do a lot of interpretation on this design. But I really love the second one to the right because of the organic feel of the lines and also the gradient color. So that's the one I went for. And yeah, process here again was pretty simple actually. I started by adding a cylindrical shape and then going to edit mode and extruding it upwards to match the shape of the bottle. Then in the image from the AI, it looks like he has some sort of LED lighting at the bottom. And to make this sort of my own, I added a foundation at the bottom that could emit LED lighting. and sort of light up the features of the bottle. And then I tried to add the spiral in a lot of different ways. This was probably the hardest part of the modeling. I tried to do it freehand first, but then I just was too much of a mess. So I ended up just using the screw modifier on a circle and then extruding it out. So I thought it came out okay. Not exactly like the photos, and not as organic as I would like, but I still think it came out really cool in the renderings that I will show later. And then it was onto the shading, and I wanted this to be a glass bottle, so it looked a little more premium. I also wanted the glass to be very rough, almost like iced. And then I added the lighting to the bottom and also the spiraling, and it created a really cool effect on the bottle. So I set up a scene and started rendering it out. Added some lighting on each side. Used a 3-point lighting setup for this one. And here's how it turned out. And this is honestly the product I was the most happy with. Like, I could see myself buying this. It looks really cool. For the last product I had a couple ideas to choose from, but I went with the Clio Lounge share. And when I inputted it into DALL-E, I was really happy with the results actually. I especially think the two in the middle came out the best. I just love the holes at the bottom. But I went with the share second to the left because something about it was just very intriguing to me. A problem I faced with this design is that it was kinda hard to model in a perfect way, especially since I didn't have a side profile. So I had to kinda just figure out in my head how it would look from the side. So yeah, this model is not going to be perfect, but I still think it came out okay. So I just used the mirror modifier at start to make it look the same on both sides. Then I started adding some loop cuts and moving vertices around to make it more share shaped and get the arm rests. Then I cut out a hole in the bottom, and from this point it was just playing with the shape, to be honest, and try to get it as I wanted and as close to the photo as possible. And at this point I already made it quite a step away from the AI image, but I kept my favorite part of it, which was the hole in the bottom. Then it was onto the materials and the shading part, and I just wanted this to be like a super shiny plastic with a lot of good reflections. And then I added some type pillows inside it to make it more comfortable. And here's what it ended up looking like. To me, it ended up looking like a super modern futuristic rocking chair, kinda. And I could honestly see this being comfortable to just sit in and wiggle back and forth. And thanks for watching this video. And if you have any specific products you would like to see me make, or 3D model, or use AI even, just let me know in the comments. And all feedback is appreciated as always. Thank you, bye.